Now today, I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this. I have a friend here, and not only is she a friend of mine, mostly she's a friend of God. Her name is Sandi McGuire, and she has an inner healing ministry. She's an intercessor. She's a Bible teacher. She's an itinerant minister. And she has a huge calling with God and government, and she has a powerful story. And so I want you to hear how her life came to be. She's also a counselor, and not just a counselor, but a counselor to counselors, helping those that are in the front line and that need to be refreshed themselves. And she helps people that are stuck become unstuck. She brings liberty, she brings freedom. Her ministry is called Here Comes Joy, and it is a joy to have you here today, Sandi. I remember reading something a couple months ago on Elijah List and Elijah Streams, and I'm like, oh, I know her. I know her. It was wonderful. So thank you for driving, and thank you for being here with us today.
Oh, you're very welcome, Jen. It's quite the honor.
So let's jump right into your story. You have such a powerful story. The enemy did not want you to realize your destiny. He did not want you to be positioned. He did not want you on the Jesus radar. And he gave it his best shot, but he didn't win. So talk to us about what happened about 15 years ago in your life.
Certainly. Thank you, Jen. Well, I became a believer in 2007, 2008, gave my life to the Lord, dove in head first, just began in ministry very quickly, and the Lord gave all these incredible words over my life of how great things were going to be, and just that He had ministry for me, and He was so uplifting, and just, everything felt, and from what I heard from the Word of God and from what I heard from just the Lord Himself, everything was going to be so great in ministry. And the very next thing I know, everything was adverse to what the Lord had said. And in 2011, I had been married for 5 years and got a divorce. In 2011, my ex-husband decided that he didn't want to live anymore. He fell into a Great Depression and he took his life. So it was suicide by gun, very tragic. And that was so difficult because I felt that had we not divorced, I felt that was my fault. I took on a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, and I felt that his death was my fault. That was January of 2011. It was unbelievable. So I continue on in that same year, 2011, and I had 2 younger siblings. There were 7 total in my family, 7 siblings. There were 2 younger siblings who I helped our parents raise. They were born when I was a teenager in high school. They were the delight of my life, Aaron and Priscilla. And in December of 2011, Aaron, who's about 22 years old, had a breakup with his girlfriend. He became depressed. We didn't fully understand what was going on. I wasn't living at home with our parents at that point, but Aaron was. So Aaron comes home, goes to his room, shuts the door. He takes out a shotgun and takes his life. Oh, gosh. It was devastating. So now 2011, the year is just ending, and I've suffered 2 of these horrendous deaths. My family, my ex-husband's family, it was just unbelievable. And to make matters worse, my youngest sister Priscilla, who was 24 at the time, she was in the military, in the Air Force, studying to be a nurse, and she was in the middle of a divorce. She was proceeding with her divorce 3 months after Aaron passed away in such a tragic death. Priscilla's husband decides that he was not going to let her divorce him. And so he takes Priscilla's life, he gets a gun, takes her life, and then his own. Aaron and Priscilla were like children to me. And it was the most devastating year that I could ever imagine. Not only myself, but for my family. We did not understand what was happening. Everything just was so dark. It makes you understand the book of Job a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just totally understand devastation. I went through a period in 2012 where I wasn't sure if I wanted to live. Some of our other siblings felt the same way. Of course, when that happens, so much death, so much destruction, you wonder, what do I want to live? This is so heavy, it's so weighty. The lives of these two precious siblings who I love so very much. And that began a time of reflection, a time of depression, a time of wondering, am I even going to live or get through this? If so, I don't know how. And so it was the most devastating time that a person could imagine. And if it weren't for the Lord, if it weren't for those words that He had given, I knew that He had promised great things. It wasn't me who got myself through, I can tell you that, Jen. It was the grace of God. The grace of God. One day I was sitting in my bedroom after work, just laying in bed depressed like I did many days, had a gun out, and I had a 9mm and knew how to take it apart and put it back together, take it apart and put it back together. And I just contemplate, do I want to die today? And that day, the Lord showed me a vision. I sat there holding the gun, and He showed a vision of my own mom at my funeral. Oh. If I were to do that and take my life, I saw the anguish in her face and could not go through with it. That broke the depression off. It broke me out of that place, and I knew that was not the direction that I was going to take. And so it was at that point that my life began to turn.